what is actually being checked. As we were saying before, very, very little is actually checked. Most of the time what it means, like what is being checked means, they check the official sex offender website for potentially the state and federal level for this person. The likelihood that an abuser is on the sex offender website is extremely low. Those are only the people who have made it all the way through the court process. And as we said before, most people are never even charged. This is roughly 1% is the estimate of abusers are on the sex offender website. So if that's your standard for a background check, you're checking an incredibly tiny subset of the bigger whole. Background checks often do an address history. They find out where this person has lived, and they try to do checks in the other states where they may have lived, which is great, except for you still run into the same problem. If they weren't accused and convicted, they're still not going to show up on the sex offender website of that state. All states share this problem. Many background checks will look at a person's wider criminal history. They're not just looking for abuse. They're not like just looking on the sex offender website. They're looking for any crimes this person has been convicted of. However, it's only going back 7 years. So a person could be 50 and we're only looking at crimes they've committed since they were 43, meaning they had a lot of adult years to commit some crimes that won't be looked at. Also, background checks can do a check on alias names that they're using, a few other things to help them know more places to look, more states or more names under which to look. But what they're looking at is still a database of convictions, which almost no one is convicted. So you're starting to see the problem with background checks. I'll tell you what it actually means to pass a background check. Parents hear this person is safe with children. What it actually means is you gave your correct name, your date of birth, your social security number, and your address. It means the information that you say on those topics is what is documentable. It means you're not on the terrorist watch list. It means you have not been convicted of a crime in the last 7 years. Does not mean you haven't committed a crime. It means you haven't been convicted of one. And it means you're not on the sex offender website. That's all a background check means. So if schools or churches or other places were honest, what they would be saying to parents is, we checked that this person is using their correct name, that they're not a terrorist, and that they haven't committed a crime for 7 years, and that they're not part of the 1% of abusers who have been caught. All it means. So why doesn't the church use background checks? Well, they're remarkably poor at finding people. The comment here that you might be making in your own head, and that I too have made, is, yeah, but isn't catching even one better than catching none? I'd say, sure, absolutely. And sometimes you hear about it, right? Such and such person applied for this volunteer job to work with kids, and they were found to be on the sex abuser list. For that reason, and for that reason alone, I actually think background checks are a great idea. However, here's where I think they're a terrible idea. What's the likelihood that a person who is actively committing child abuse right now is on any of those lists? It's so small that when we say to parents, this person is safe, we actually have no idea if that's true or not.